Okay, so here we go. We got class today. It's always interesting. I don't mind talking about stuff because it can be a life lesson. You learn a lot from people. Some of my best friends in my life were like 60, 70 years old because you just learn so much from them. So, let's see, weekly folders. I put a week 10 out there for you all because what's happening Friday?
Nothing.
Why?
Because you're not here.
Thank you. I'm just verifying that people actually hear me. I will not be here Friday. I put some stuff out here that you can work on. I did not make it due until Tuesday at midnight, so that gives you a week to get it done. It's not the most difficult stuff in the world. I will throw a few videos out there to support the paper. I'll get those out there probably today sometime, if not tomorrow. But AI stands for artificial intelligence for people that, you know, you have a ton of acronyms in your life and it's like, okay, what the heck do they mean? AI and MIS, you know, I would assume you would know that. Read chapters 13 and 14, take the quiz. There's that. Short paper, I'm actually pretty straightforward on it. You know, I want 3 full pages. That's not a lot to ask when it's double spaced. Okay, especially size 12 font. I'm getting old. I need a new prescription, which I'm waiting because my son's pretty much destroyed my glasses. Like, thanks, kid. If you do create a reference page, if you have a reference page, if you have an abstract, if you have a title page, that doesn't count towards your page total. Okay? I always have to clarify that because otherwise you always get that one person that writes one page and includes a title page, and it's like, no. It's those things that you learn through life. You have to be pretty clear what you're looking for. So size 12 times New Roman, double spaced. APA formatting for any outside resources is required. Okay? If you don't know how to create an APA citation, you can go to something like crossref.org, I believe. And in here, you can, right here, search here. So I could do a search for different things. Okay, let's not do that. Let's do a search for metadata. How did I miss AI? Anyway, you can use this site. If you know the title of an article or something, you can use this site. And when you go to actions, you can actually get a citation. And if you click on APA, there's the most recent APA format for that article. Okay? So again, you go to crossref.org. That'll take you to their homepage. You want to search metadata. We want to do AI and information systems, for instance, and it will find all the articles. It doesn't allow you to open the articles because that's not what this is about. This is just getting cross-references and stuff like that. At least I don't think it'll take you in. Well, it will take you to the journal, but it might not give you the full article. Okay. Another location to get that is here you can actually find like full articles and stuff. Usually if it says PDF, you open that and it's going to be the full PDF. Okay. When I go back to here though, you can actually get your citations for these from them as well, and it shows it in APA format. there is a difference. If you ever write a paper for like a graduate school or a PhD or anything like that, resources for that, you actually have to have that DOI. On crossref.org, let me take this same title here. Let's see. I'm going to go to crossref.org. I want to show you the difference, okay? Do 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 do. Just wrote that song. It's a good song. If I do a search for this article, it should find it, I hope. Did it find it? User interaction. Maybe it didn't find it. It should have been. Well, I could just show you this way. I'm going to go to citation. The DOI that you see, that right there, is the digital signature for the article. APA formatting, the newest APA formatting requires that. I'm not that concerned with that part, but if you ever write a paper for like a dissertation or a graduate degree program, someone that is a severe stickler on APA format would want that now. So if it's an electronic document that you got off the internet, you should be able to find that. Okay, but if you looked at what I got off of here, obviously they didn't include it. So that's a challenge. This is an APA formatted, but it's not the most recent. There are sites that you can go to and get the DOI and stuff like that if you can't find it on Crossref and stuff, but anyway. Okay, so that's just a couple tips on being able to get citations without having to figure them out. Has anyone ever showed you the Microsoft Word tool for it? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to show you again because some people might not have ever seen it before. And yes, I'm using this as an opportunity to give you a little bit of knowledge that could help you in other classes. Okay. I realize that one of the things that causes people, plagiarism is something that's near and dear to me. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. If you plagiarize in my class, I will fail you in my class just because I hate it. There's no reason to plagiarize. You're better off putting it in your own words and getting fewer points than plagiarizing and getting failed. Okay? If I wanted to, under references, you can see that there is a section here for managed sources. So references, managed sources. And in here, I can say that I want to create a new source, and I can say, well, it's a journal article, and then I click Show All Bibliography Fields. And because this is set to APA format up here, it's showing me all the required fields for APA formatting. That doesn't mean that you stop at those. That means that's the bare minimum. Okay? For instance, if you know the month and day that something was published in a journal, include it. You know, if you know the publisher, include it. If you know the editor, include it. If there's a volume and an issue, definitely include it. Even though it says it's not required, definitely include it, because that is pretty much blatantly out there. Okay. You don't have to do like short title and stuff like that, but get the things that are most likely to be an issue. Year accessed and month accessed and day accessed. You know what day you access this stuff. Make sure that you put that in there. Want to know why? What if it's a resource that disappears? Or what if it's a resource that can be changed? Right? So I accessed it at this point. Right? So if it changed, if it was something that was a fluid document that people were consistently adding to, et cetera, you know, almost like a Wikipedia, but not, or let's say it was a blog or something like that, then it makes sense to say what day. If you have problems, one of the biggest things I always had a problem with was citing websites. But if I go to website, select website as my source, it shows me what's necessary. The name of the web page, just so you guys know, the name of the web page, if I go to Crossref, I'll go right here. The name of the web page is VitalSource. The web address is vitalsource.com, right? So the name of the website would be VitalSource, or of the web page. The website is VitalSource. The web page is whatever page I'm on, and I'll show you where that's at, just for the heck of it. What's a good place to go? Let me just look up penguins. I can find something about penguins. I don't want to do penguins that way. I'll go here. So in this case, the name of the website or the web page is up here. Okay, what you see up in this, that's the name. This is the website would be espn.com, right? Or the web, and then so it would go like this. I go Control C, go back out here, name of the website, ESPN, and the author, you can say that it's a corporate author. That way, you know, if you don't know the actual author of the article or the author of the web page, you can say it's a corporate. That's a way of getting past that. Otherwise, put the author's name in. The name of the web page in this case, you know, I'm going to abbreviate, you know, it was the name that was up top, whatever it was. The year and month and day, that would be the year, month, and day that it was last edited. If you can't find that, use the current date. And then if you see nothing else is necessary. So if I wasn't sure, oops, URL, sorry, there is one more thing that's necessary, URL. Okay. The month, day, and year, so I'm going to put January, and here I'm going to put first, and then I'm going to, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I'll put January. If I spell it correctly, that'll work. And the day, I'm just going to put first. But then the access date is, they should put these in order, right, that you normally type them. So I have everything necessary. I hit OK. It shows me what my bibliography entry is going to look like. Now here's what's really cool. Whoops, not there. If I go here and I say insert citation, it formats it for me. Now if you use that reference tab and you're like, TJ uses his laptop. If he's using his laptop and that's what he writes every paper on while he's in college, it manages and keeps track of every resource that you've used. Okay? So when I'm looking at managing resources, I have a master list, which is everything I've ever used, and then I have the current list, and I can move things back and forth. If I don't want that over here, I can, oh, I already used it, so I can't delete it. But if I hadn't used it yet, I can move it back over. I can hit delete, and it'll stay in the master list. What's nice about that is if you're a cybersecurity major, every time you write a paper about cybersecurity, you have new sources. Well, what if you write a paper and you're like, I've used this source in a different paper, what was it? You got a list of every resource you've used. It's a nice tool. It might take you a minute to create the citation, but if you're going to use it a bunch of times, it saves you time. Okay. And then when you're in here, if you actually have to, you can right click on it. You can say edit citation and add a page number if it's a direct quote. Okay. And what's really cool is if down the road, for some reason, which shouldn't happen in a business school, but someone requires you to do MLA, it automatically changes your citations and your bibliography. Okay? Now here's the interesting thing too. By the way, the reason I show this is this stuff existed a long time ago, and if I had used it during my master's, my first graduate degree, I would have had my paper done so much quicker. My master's thesis would have been done much easier because every time I added, it would change page numbers and I'd have to go back and change it and everything else. And if you add a new source and everything, yeah, it created problems. But I can actually insert a references page. Okay. If you have a paper that requires a table of contents, this is stuff that you don't actually get. Like if you're taking MIS1110 right now, depending on who you take, you don't get access to this information. I think the Weaver teaches it, but I normally teach it when I teach that class. I always show this, but this is important. If this is a tool that you could have had when you're a freshman, like you are, most of you are freshmen, this can be a useful tool from this point out, you know. So that's why it's important that I show it to you. The other thing that happens is that you see these things up top on the Home tab. You see normal, you see heading 1, heading 2, title, all of that stuff. That stuff comes in handy because if I wanted to, I can put a heading 1 and say as penguins, and then I could have a let's say down here I put a heading 2, and then maybe I do another heading 2. Okay. And by the way, you can edit these because this isn't APA format, right? When you look at the way this is actually formatted, it's not correct. So you can actually right click and you can say modify on the heading style. And you can set it to, you know what, maybe it has to be bold-faced. I still want size 12 font. It's not supposed to be bigger. It's supposed to be Times New Roman, so I got to go down to Times New Roman. I think I could just put a T in there. There we go. Okay, and it has to be black. And it will change all of them that were set to that. Now here's the thing. It looks like a minor thing, right? But what's really cool about it is it allows you to go back to your references and I can insert a table of contents. Notice what it just did. It gave me page numbers for my table of contents. Watch what happens. I'm going to throw a page break in right here. So I'm going to insert a page break. If I go back up here, I can update table, update entire table. It changes my page numbers. Anytime I added stuff in the past, I had to go back and look where all my headings were and change my entire table of contents. And I had it come back to me several times through all the iterations of writing that paper. I had it come back several times where it was your page numbers don't match. And you're like, okay, why? So now you have to go through your entire paper and figure out where everything was. This can save you time. Okay? So, just helpful hints on papers. Even needing those for the paper in my class is not that big of a deal on some of the stuff. You know, you don't have to have the table of contents. That's not why I showed you this. You don't have to use headings in that. That's not why I showed you this. I showed you this because you're probably coming to a time period right now where you're going to have term papers due for classes and stuff like that. This should help you. Okay? And yes, I am recording it, and it will be posted. And I'll even include in the notes that this is the lecture that had the stuff about Word. Okay? So those are the most useful tips that I can give you. The only other tip I can give you is that if they are requiring a title page or a cover page, none of these are APA formatted, just so you know. So if you select one, it would take a lot of editing. You're better off going to like owl.purdue and looking for how it's formatted in APA format. And you should know based on what the instructor is saying, if they're a stickler for APA formatting and stuff. No matter what, always try to keep your citations in APA format. Okay. So, because I've had instructors in the past that literally counted it as plagiarism if your citation was wrong. It's like, why? You're trying to cite it. I'm not going to give you a 0 for it. I'm going to take away a point, or something like that. But anyway, helpful, useful information. Did you learn something new so far today? Good. Good. So there's that. Like I said, I don't normally. I do try to put that in a freshman class somewhere. But I'm just saying, yeah. So anyway, I will put some videos out there associated with the paper AI and MIS. You can take the paper almost any direction you want. I just give you these ideas. Where do you see AI and MIS going? I kind of want to, see what your thoughts are on this stuff. And you can pick a very specific topic if you want to. But these are just little blurbs to say, hey, things that you might want to think about or directions you might want to go if you have no clue. Okay? So, there's that. Now, let's go out here to our wonderful world of blah, blah, blah. Where did we leave off last class, anyway? No help? Nothing?
I don't remember.
You guys aren't even gonna... We left off on AI. Yeah. And that's a topic that I think you can have a lot of fun with. And AI, as far as business is concerned, can go so many different directions depending on the field of business. The auto industry is not just all about self-driving cars. They're looking at how they can use self-driving cars to improve your life, to improve business, believe it or not. For instance, is there a potential that I could have to have my car repaired on a day that I'm working?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance. If I work a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, and my car needs to be worked on, when are places that work on them open? 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So am I going to have to take time off from work for that? Yeah. There are automotive companies that are trying to create applications and that for self-driving vehicles that would literally take you, or you would schedule your appointment or what have you, and while you're at work, you would take your car to the dealership or to get its oil changed, and then when you came back out, your car would be there. And if your car couldn't be there, the loaner should be there, right? Maybe there was more wrong with your car than what could have happened. So but it's all part of supply chain. They're using AI in cars to do other things. I think I told you my friend's car. He was driving his. I think he had a BMW X5. Is that the larger SUV? Okay, so he's driving a BMW X5. He's going down the expressway, and someone came over the little speaker in there and said, "Hey, You know, would you like to schedule a service for your car? Your check engine light's on. He says, my check engine light isn't on. And he looks, and sure enough, it had turned on. So they diagnosed the problem before he ever, well, they diagnosed that there was a problem before he did. And they contacted him to make an appointment. Did they know what the problem was? Maybe not. But there are companies right now that are developing applications that can tell what is going wrong with your car. It can analyze the computer information and stuff to determine, okay, is this something that we should shut you down for? You know, are you having a catastrophic problem that if you keep driving your car, you're going to have to replace your transmission or something like that? And if so, do we actually let you know so you can pull over and call a tow truck? And something like that is highly valuable, right? But they're using, is it AI that they're using, or is it just technology? Right? They're analyzing information, they're analyzing data, and then they're making decisions based on that. Is that AI, or is that just data analytics? What's the difference? That could be another thing you could go down the rabbit hole of if you're doing, when you're doing that paper. If you wanted to, what's the difference between AI and just data analytics? You know, now, what's the tie-in between AI, robotics, data analytics? You know, does AI mean that we're automating things, or does AI mean that we're analyzing data and making business decisions, or just decisions based on that data, right? Those are directions that you could take your paper. It just depends on what you're trying to do. But my point is that, like that car situation, analyze that. Is that AI, or is that something that's, you know, what is that? Is that just data analytics looking for anomalies, or is that AI? Did we ever look up the definition of AI? I don't think we did. No, everyone look at me, huh? I guarantee you that Wikipedia has it. And Wikipedia is always right. No, it's not. It's a good place to start, though, because almost everything out there is going to have a reference list attached to it at the bottom. And if they have references, it always makes sense that, man, they could provide a lot of information, right? I didn't see all these references, 100 and some references. I didn't see them all listed up here. But they might be. I could be wrong. Doesn't seem like there's enough room for that much. So, but the main concept is that is intelligence demonstrated by machines as opposed to the natural intelligence displayed by animals. Leading AI textbooks define the field as the study of intelligent agents, any system that perceives its environment and takes actions that maximize its chance of achieving its goals. Let's go back to the vehicle, right? It's definitely not natural intelligence, so if it's anything, it has to be artificial intelligence. Is it, where was that? Is it perceiving its environment and taking actions to maximize its chance of achieving its goal? What is the goal of that vehicle? It's whatever we set it as, right? Yeah. But it's to maintain itself, right? The goal of that vehicle is to stay running in working order without catastrophic damage. Can we agree to that? Okay. So if you agree with that, then is it artificial intelligence? It's analyzing its environment, right? It's perceiving its environment, the environment being the car itself. It's recognizing if there's a problem. Okay, if there is a problem, what does it do? Well, it triggered to through satellite or whatever, it triggered to BMW headquarters, whatever it is that they set up, and said, hey, there's a problem here, contact this person. Now, could we have that built into the car without having to go to an external source? Would that be more like a higher degree of artificial intelligence if we don't have it contacting you directly and saying something? And if we could do that, we can do that, right? Because we can have it send a call out to BMW and have them call you. And what's the purpose in that? What's the purpose in having an actual person from BMW come over your speaker and say that you have a problem? And that, you know, would you like to schedule it right now? Customer resource management? Customer relationship management, I mean, sorry. Resource, relationship, same thing. But is it CRM? Yeah, because most of us prefer to deal with people, right? So that's CRM. It has nothing to do with the ability of being able to make the car do it on its own. The car should be able to say, you know, it should be able to recognize that there's a problem, and instead of just having the idiot light on the dash, by the way, if you don't know what an idiot light is, all it is that little light that says check engine. It doesn't tell you what's wrong or anything, it just tells you that something's wrong. Okay? And they started calling them idiot lights because people ignore them. And then their car breaks down and they're like, what happened? Okay? But it's just saying something's wrong. We're not going to get in detail about it, etc. Well, we've taken it to a level right now that it recognizes that there's a problem, and it should be able to recognize that it's a problem with your transmission or a problem with your engine. And I guarantee you there are probably computer codes that will tell, well, I do guarantee you that there are computer codes that would tell a mechanic exactly, not exactly. It would give them options, right? It's going to show certain things that it could be. And they start from point A and try different things, right? And there's other ways of testing to see if each component is bad or where the problem is. But could it, well, that car could say, you know, there is a problem with your transmission, pull over now or risk catastrophic damage. Right? And it could say, you know, if you pull over now and call BMW to make an appointment or something like that. Now, that's not good customer relationship management. Good customer relationship management would be literally what these companies are trying to do with AI. It recognizes that you're going to need an appointment. It gets a hold of the computer, talks to the closest BMW dealer to where you're at, if you're out of state, or where you live, if you're in state, right? If you're just going back and forth to work, it's going to find the closest one. And what it's going to say is, okay, if this person creates an appointment on the phone with the person, you know, you're talking to the person from BMW and say, yeah, I would like to make an appointment. And they're going to say, well, what day and time works best for you? And you say it, you know, and they're like, okay, we've got that. Well, as soon as they hit a button confirming your appointment, they should have codes from that computer that show all the potential problems. And what's nice is supply chain, a lot of times they can have the part there by the time your car's there for its appointment. So they can get you in and out of that establishment much quicker. You have less downtime with your vehicle. I'm not talking about right now. Right now is an anomaly in time. It's just this thing that who knows what happened. You know, between COVID and people not wanting to go back to work for various reasons. I don't know why. You know, depends who you ask. Some people say people don't want to go back because they don't want to work for the money that they're being paid for the way that they're treated. Other people are saying that it's just a bunch of lazy people out there that don't want to work. Other people are saying, well, you know, there's different reasons all over the board. And that's being, that's creating this supply chain problem. Okay, well, maybe not. Because on the other end, you have tariffs that were implemented without actually having infrastructure to replace the goods that are no longer coming. So which is it? I don't know. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm supply chain, if we take supply chain out of the, well, actually, maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't be a problem. Maybe it would be something that it would recognize that and say, hey, artificial intelligence should recognize the lead time on ordering parts.
Yeah.
So we could say, well, no, the part that you need is not going to be here on time. Let's schedule you a loaner. BMW, my friend lives in Saginaw. The closest BMW dealer is Grand Blanc, I believe, or it was at least. And they would literally come pick his vehicle up to do an oil change. They would take it back to Grand Blanc, do his oil change in that, and bring him a loaner, and then swap him out. So that could be one of those scenarios where it's like, okay, well, the parts are ordered, they're on their way, but you're going to have a loaner until they get here because your car is not operational. Or is it something that your car is operational, but it's something that has to be addressed within sooner or later? But the idea is that artificial intelligence can give us a better understanding of this, right? And all of the stuff I've been talking about is automotive, but if you've listened and you've paid attention, you also recognize that it's all information systems. Your car has an information system. It's analyzing all the data coming from your vehicle. It's reporting it to an information system on BMW's side. That information system, believe it or not, even without artificial intelligence, is tied directly to all of the dealerships. It's tied directly with their supply chain and everything, right? It's all information systems. Now the artificial intelligence comes in to, let's analyze that data, let's try to make this a smoother operation, right? Let's make this more efficient and get people through their life with the least amount of problems. Make sense? So we have that example of artificial intelligence. Anything good? Is that anything new? Some people might listen to me and think, he's just rambling again. But I wasn't this time, I swear. So, I didn't get my energy drink today. I did down my double shot, though. I'm good.
Gotta bring down that tolerance.
What's that?
Gotta bring down that caffeine tolerance.
Why?
Because now the caffeine's not affecting you.
It's not?
Yeah, I mean, as much as like if I take, 2 energy drinks, I'll be bouncing off the walls.
Oh! Okay.
That's
You're
why I'll
right.
be out, Sanford.
I can't quit the caffeine. No one likes a quitter.
I respect that.
So, anyway, I wouldn't respect that. I'd be like, you're nuts. So, anyway, that's where that chapter is. If that didn't explain the concept of managing knowledge in a single sense and artificial intelligence and how that can work, then we have other issues we have to talk about. So what is the role of knowledge in management information systems? These are just the objectives from the chapter. What are artificial intelligence and machine learning? We talked about machine learning the first lecture on it, right, where we talked about the Roomba and it just learns based on trial and error and it stores it. Artificial intelligence is a much higher level. You start taking cameras into situations, analyzing the environment, recognizing where things are, etc., without having to bump into them constantly. Doesn't mean that you won't bump into things, but you'll have a mix between machine learning and artificial intelligence. Enterprise-wide knowledge management, and when you talk about this, 11-3, what types of systems are used for enterprise-wide knowledge management and how do they provide value for the business? That would be ERP. We have a whole class on ERP. Okay? Enterprise Resource Planning Systems. And all that does is it ties every functional area of business together under one umbrella. Okay? So when you hire someone through human resources, they're entered into the ERP system. When you have a project that requires certain skill sets, it actually can look at the skill sets of all the employees and find the best people to put in the project. That's just one example of how artificial intelligence and enterprise resource planning and that can tie in. Recognize, if you go to a supply chain side, you can recognize trends in purchasing in that, and it would automatically make changes through artificial intelligence in that. It can automatically make changes to your production based on past orders and stuff like that. It would look for trends and say, okay, well, every August, or not every August, let's say every July, manufacturers of sweaters start upping the amount of sweaters they make simply because the buying trend in the area goes up in September or something like that. Okay, it can recognize that and make changes. Artificial intelligence in the line of supply chain could also recognize things such as political strife in certain areas. You know, if I'm ordering coffee beans from Brazil or Venezuela or something and they're having unrest, can I still get my coffee beans? If not, is it going to change to a different supplier? Do I have contingencies built into my system that it can analyze and automatically make changes based on even local news? And the thing is it's not that way. I have yet to see an ERP system set up that way at this point, but it's something that you could create with artificial intelligence. Recognizing world events and stuff, recognizing the weather trends and stuff, and saying, okay, well, this time of year, traditionally we have this many hurricanes in this area, we're going to ship to a different location. I saw I'm a weird person because I check all these different news sources. I look at NPR, I look at Reuters, I look at Fox, I look at CNN, I look at them all because that's the only way you get a complete picture of what's truly going on. You know, Fox News and CNN are great resources to get ideas to look up because it's entertainment, it's not necessarily news, but you can see things that you might want to look into. So then you go and you look at other resources because they're not gospel. They're just not. There's a reason they're not called journalists. So anyway, that's both sides. Both sides. Okay? I don't play favorites here. But I saw this thing, and it was a virtualization of the supply chain problem on the West Coast of California, and they were showing the California port and how many ships were trying to get in versus how many couldn't get in and stuff. And I'm watching that and I'm like, why do we keep sending them to the same port? Why are you only showing that port? Let's see the virtualization of the whole United States seaports, right? And can we improve this? Make sense? No. How many airports are not at full flying capacity that we could actually, maybe use FedEx or UPS a little better off, or to get us through this major issue? Well, why don't we take some of our inactive National Guard and have them literally use their big Hercules airplanes to do some supply chain management? I don't know. Seems like a governmental issue, doesn't it? But when I saw that, to me, that's an opportunity for artificial intelligence to be used to analyze, okay, how can we fix this with the resources we have? So you can run an algorithm through and say, okay, well, this ship is coming from here, and I guarantee you we don't do this to begin with. If we did this to begin with, shipping costs might be cheaper. So instead of sending every ship from China and Japan and that directly to California, well, is Washington closer? Is Oregon closer? Where's everything that's on that ship going to ship to? Right? Can we stage things better? Can we load things better? Local businesses do it. Amazon does it. Their model is amazing as far as the United States. And for some reason, they don't seem to have a supply chain problem getting stuff to your house. So, are they better at it? Right? We have a supply chain problem in the United States itself when you go to a store and you can't get creamer. You can't get heavy cream for like making whipped cream and stuff. And their answer to you, well, we haven't had that in like 2 weeks. Buy local. Guarantee you there's some farmers out here that would love to sell you some heavy cream. I don't know. What do I know? But artificial intelligence should be able to recognize how to improve these. Right? And maybe we have to move to that level of thinking. Maybe we have to move to the concept of using numbers to do the thought process of certain things. There's a reason artificial intelligence is a science that everyone's heading down the road to, and that's because when you throw human behavior, human rationale at something, it's different than when you just take the cold numbers and do something based on it. Right? Your decisions based on cold numbers, which is what AI is going to base it off of. Artificial intelligence and data analytics base everything off of just the numbers. We don't take into consideration, well, how is TJ going to feel if he can't have cold cream in the morning in his coffee? That's not my problem, TJ. You're the only person you're the only person in the state of Michigan that needs it. Figure it out. Right? So that would be an example of how artificial intelligence would not meet your need as far as supply chain. But Nicholas down there, he wants it. And now the two of you together, can you get it? Nicholas is smart. He'd just go down to the local, and I'm not saying he's not smart, but he's smart. He'll just go down to the local farmer and say, hey, I need some cream. Now I got to figure out how to make it cold. So, it's like fresh. So.
And I'll just sit here without my cream.
Use that non-dairy powder. Oh, this is wrong. My wife keeps telling me I'm using too much creamer. I said, buy more. It's bad for you. How is it bad for me? It's dairy. Oh wait, human beings aren't meant to drink milk anymore after a certain age. Most animals aren't. Yeah.
Not supposed to drink milk after a certain age.
You really don't need it. I shouldn't say you. No, I'm not supposed to say you're not. I shouldn't say you're not supposed to.
Okay.
It's not a necessity for us to drink milk.
Was it ever a necessity to drink milk?
At birth.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
First year and a half? Yeah, you have to have some type of sustenance, whether it be formula or milk or something.
I thought you meant when you hit age 50, milk was detrimental to your health. I was like, what?
Well, it quite possibly could be. I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Give me 2 seconds.
Well, it's the things that you see. I'm an old man. I'm not really an old man, but I'm getting old, and I'm realizing that my way of thinking has to always be adjusted, because I'm like, my wife would be like, well, you shouldn't be eating that. That's bad for you. I'm like, I grew up on that. I'm alive. I might not be the healthiest individual in the world, but I did pretty good, right? So it's like, no, you can't tell me I can't eat cheap Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Whether you're 7 or 77, drinking milk at any age is important for good health.
Who says that? The dairy industry?
Yeah, AmericanDairy.com.
Exactly. Okay. I'm like, was it ketchup that they added vitamin D to years ago because they realized that kids weren't getting enough vitamin D, but kids were eating a lot of ketchup, so they added vitamin D? Yeah. It's like,
It does say without proper calcium intake, seniors may develop osteoporosis.
Same site?
No, it's a different one.
oh, it's FDA?
Home Care Assistance, Winnipeg.
Okay.
Okay.
I would have to agree there, except there are so many different ways to get your vitamin C and vitamin D
Well, and your calcium.
and your calcium.
Yeah, and all that.
Yeah.
It's like,
pop
it's
it in
just
a
that
pill.
milk is a good source of calcium.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's something to be said for it because, I mean, the average age of death has increased tremendously since I was born.
You can have like almond milk and stuff.
Yeah. How many of us have grandparents that are in their 80s? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Is it a good time? 11:30 you said?
11:38 Sanford.
I'm 2 minutes early, I'll stand up.
Is this our class is over?
Yep.
No, it's over.
No, it's over. It's over.
Wait.
You guys are just,
About it.
wow.
I was trying to give the intelligent answer.
Yeah, why are people just sitting here say, Sanford, we're done?
I'm not a man of the people.
Because, yeah, class went from what?
It's 11.
Yeah, till 11:50.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the wrong class.
gotta say it.
Because you want seniors.
Well,
Juniors.
So, juniors is great, yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any juniors in here?
No, these are freshmen. No, you got one junior.
One junior, any sophomores?
I could be a junior.
There we go.
Okay.
Start thinking.
Okay.
You could take time.
What was that?
You could take their time.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We're just shooting the bull at this point now.
I can come back to or whatever. What we're,
No, feel free.
Okay.
You need the computer?
So I actually emailed you my presentation.
Why would you do that?
If you,
I have no ability. And they know this, so I can say it out loud.
It is true.
It is true, yes.
This is true.
This is actually, I actually think you should be starting with the earlier groups anyway.
yeah, well, yeah, because we're registering now for a year at a time for classes, so really they would have to know about it.
I'm going to download it and then open it, because otherwise, who knows what our network's like.
Yeah. That works.
Okay. This is, I'll let her introduce herself. Okay. Let's give this person an opportunity to speak to you. Because she's going to have to come back for my next class if she's available.
Yes, perfect. All
Yes,
right.
mood light, sorry.
Hi, everyone. I am Kennedy Cripps. I'm the Marketing Innovation and Operations Manager for DeVos Graduate School, Northwood University's graduate school over there. I'm sure you're familiar with the building. You've probably used it to study or who knows what. So I work for DeVos, and I'm here today to just share with you a new opportunity that we have for Northwood University seniors to enroll in, as well as a little bit about our MSBA program, our Master of Science in Business Analytics. So I'm sure you're familiar with the Northwood mission. The outcomes of the DeVos Graduate School are business acumen, critical thinking, personal effectiveness, and global perspective. So those are the outcomes, the proficiency that we expect within all of the graduates from any of our programs at DeVos. Business acumen just being well-rounded, business thinking. In the MBA program, for example, we're not just teaching a particular subject. We will make sure that our graduates are proficient in accounting, finance, economics, marketing, strategy, all of those different areas to create a well-rounded business leader. We focus on application, so there are no tests, there's no memorization, there's no lectures in any of our programs. It's all student-centered and student-led learning and real case studies. We use the Harvard Business Model, so All of our cases come from Harvard. We do simulations in the classroom. There is a lot of writing, a lot of papers and that type of stuff, but it's all application of concepts to the real world. So the program that I'm here to talk to you about is our dual enrollment program. So what is it? Seniors can take 1 to 2 graduate courses up to a total of 6 credits. So that's 3 credits per course, just like in your undergraduate classes here, to be applied to both your Northwood bachelor's degree as well as a DeVos graduate degree. So the DeVos graduate degrees that are part of this program are our Master of Business Administration, our Master of Science in Business Analytics, our Master of Science in Finance, our Master of Science in Human Resources, which is brand new, and our Master of Science in Organizational Leadership. The classes are first come, first served, so if you are interested in any of them, I would just encourage you to talk to your academic advisor as soon as possible to make sure that we can get you into the classes that you might be interested in. They are offered 8 weeks long, whether you take them online or in person here in Midland at our building. So who is eligible? Seniors with a 3.25 GPA or higher. We do, however, want juniors and other underclassmen to be aware of the opportunity, like I said, so we can start those conversations and get you into the classes that you might be interested in. Here are the 4 courses that are part of the program. Org 612, Human Behavior and Organizations, Management 605, Org Leadership, Management 622, Fundamental Concepts and Approaches to Decision Making, and Finance 632, which is our financial reporting course. The equivalencies are, so the first 2 can replace your need for Management 4250 or an upper level business elective, and then all of them can replace an upper level business elective. So essentially you're taking 1 DeVos course, you're getting undergraduate credit for it as well as graduate credit with just that 1 course. Here you can see just like our spring 2022 offerings. This is the same semester by semester, so if you are an underclassman and you're not looking to take these in the spring, your offerings might look a little bit different than this, but it gives you a general idea of what you might be looking at for your schedule. And then here's those 5 master's programs that I mentioned and which course can be applied to which of those degrees. All 4 of which can be applied to the Master of Science Business Analytics. So the coolest part about this is if you're enrolled in 12 to 17 credits, you pay $0 to take a graduate course. So that's for the arrangement with Northwood and DeVos. You are able to take that class for free, essentially. So all you would owe is a materials cost of $125 per course, and that covers like those case studies and the simulation materials and those types of things that I talked a little bit about earlier. If you are enrolled in 18 to 19 credits, you do pay a flat rate of $1,368, still heavily discounted from what a graduate course would typically cost, and then you do have that materials cost. If you are enrolled in 20 or more credits, you're not eligible, unfortunately, given that workload. We wouldn't want to overwhelm you. So you would be getting, like I said, credit in both classes. Where we see people wanting to do this is typically, so I'm sure you guys have had to pick electives before, and it's like things fill up quickly if you don't have priority registration. Sometimes the class is full. Sometimes the topic of the elective, you might just be like, I'm not really interested in that. And one of those graduate courses, might be of more interest to you. So you don't have to sign a contract saying, hey, you have to finish the degree at DeVos or anything like that. It's a one and done thing if that's what you want it to be. So you do need a B or higher for it to be considered for graduate credit. You just need the C or higher for it to be considered for Northwood credit. BBA, MBA students are not eligible just because of their curriculum is already mapped out for those 4 years. And then also your merit scholarship would be prorated if you choose to pursue the full degree at DeVos after you graduate here from Northwood. Your merit scholarship would be prorated by the amount of credits that you have left. We do not require GMAT or GRE scores for admission into this program. So here's the Master of Science in Business Analytics. Is anyone familiar with the MSBA program? Have you looked into anything like that before? No? Anyone considering graduate school at all? Okay, great, awesome, perfect. So the MSBA, just because you guys are in an MIS class, it aligns well. We of course have the other programs as well, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the business analytics specifically. So what is business analytics? Business analytics is the process of using quantitative methods to derive meaning from data in order to improve upon data-driven decision making. So the 3 primary methods of business analytics are descriptive and graphical, predictive, and prescriptive. Descriptive and graphical, descriptive methods make it possible to summarize big data sets and use graphical analyses to tell a story. So having just the data is not enough. It must be used to tell stories. And predictive is the construction of models to predict outcome variables. that matter for success. So this would be like your sales, profits, returns, those types of business metrics. Prescriptive is using business analytics results to make recommendations for improvement, and it's proof that we can use business analytics to affect positive change in our organizations. So the three primary benefits of using business analytics are more data-informed decision-making, improved financial performance, and improved operational efficiency and productivity. Here are just some stats from a recent study by MicroStrategy. So 71% of firms predict their investment in business analytics will accelerate in the next 3 years and beyond. And then you can go through and read the other stats. But primarily, business analytics is an up and growing profession. CEOs need chief information officers. They need people that can read data. They need people that can translate that data into action. So the DeVos MSBA, it applies the curriculum to real-world problem solving. You learn to present analytics as a story that translates data into action. You'll get proficiency with Power Analytics tools such as those listed up there, and then also that we of course have that student-centered approach, which is what makes us unique from probably a lot of other business analytics degrees. Here's the classes that you would take during the MSBA. In addition to this, you would have 2 elective courses from our MBA, MSF, MSOL, or MSHR programs, and you can choose which electives you would want. We end the program with a capstone course where you work with a real business and solve a problem for them in real time and make real recommendations to them at the end. Here's just a testimonial. So it's 24 months, 30 credit hours, so 10 courses. It's offered 100% online, and you can start fall, spring, or summer. And there's just our other programs, so I mentioned most of them earlier, but all of them have 8-week courses. All of them have flexible class formats. Capstone projects are included with all of our programs. You will have a dedicated graduate advisor, so one person that you go to throughout the entirety of your program for anything that you any questions you might have. We do have scholarships available, and we do not require the GMAT GRE. Our next semester start is January 10th. Like I said, we have fall starts, spring starts, and summer. So there's just my contact information. If you have any questions, I'm an alumni. I did my MBA at DeVos, finished that in 2018. So I'm not an admissions rep, not great at like the salesy part, but I did go through the program, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about my personal experience anytime, or about the dual enrollment program, which is launched in the last year. And then Lauren Bess is an admissions representative. If you have questions for her, she'd be happy to answer. That's it. Any questions? What was that?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I think it's a good sign we don't have questions. I don't know. Thank you, guys.
Oh, it's a sign. Yeah, it's something that if you have an opportunity, especially right now, if you're freshmen and you have any idea that you want to go to grad school, take advantage of the opportunity and actually build that in, save an elective or something for that last semester here and take one of those or something. At least get a feel for it and see if you like it. It's value, so. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. You want to come back in, next class starts at noon, right?
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I'm still stuck on like last year's schedule where we started class at 8 a.m. till, so I'm still stuck on that. And every now and then it just still hits me.
Right.
I've been standing out here waiting for my classroom to open. I'm like, my classroom, why are you in my classroom? You gotta get out of my classroom. And then I realized, class starts at, so yeah, I apologize for that.
Oh, you're totally fine.
But yeah, if you have an opportunity, you can stick around.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So, anyway, yeah, that is an opportunity that I wish I would have had, and I'm not just trying to sell, because what they're doing isn't actually trying to, it's an indirect sale, but at the same time, they're actually giving you an opportunity to do a graduate level course. It's pretty cool. What?
Would you say that specifically like in today's age with tech being where it's at in business, that a master's is essential towards getting a better job?
I would never say that.
Just because it's always in the air?
It's always in the air, number one. Number two, it's not a requirement for entry-level jobs, and the problem is if you go directly, like, I don't want to diminish what the master's is. The master's is a highly viable thing, and it has a lot of value, and the value is in your career path, not your starting positions. You're still going to have to get out there and get your 5 years of experience somewhere to start getting the higher level jobs. You might qualify for some career paths that you didn't meet prior to, but if you're going straight through, you went K through 12, bachelor's, master's, and then some people go right for their PhD all in a line, and you're not getting the work experience, make sure you're getting the work experience as well. Because otherwise what's happening is you're going to graduate with your master's, which has value, but you're going to realize that value further down the road because you don't have experience. Yeah, there's value in it, but I don't want to say that there's instant value.
Right.
Because that's misleading. It's the same concept of misleading, like when we tell you go to college and you get in college, and a lot of times people come to college and they think their starting salary is going to be $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year. Those are anomalies. Those are outliers in the statistics. The average starting salary across the board for college graduates is right around 40 to 45. Some fields are higher, some fields are lower. If you're an arts major like history or something like that, I guarantee you they're lower. If you're a science major like computer science, MIS, all those fields, it's going to be higher. The average starting salary for MIS has increased a great deal. Where the average nationwide is around 45, Northwood's right around 45 to 50, so we're in line. We've had numerous people in the past few years that graduated, and they've left with 60, 70, all the way up to 80,000. As starting salaries, but get an internship that increases your average starting salary by about 10% or better. Also gives you almost an instant job offer upon graduation. Most people that are providing internships are actually training you to stay. They're investing in you. So there's advantages to it. And if you're planning, if you have a thought in your head that you want to go on to get a degree, especially if you're MIS or cybersecurity. Now, cybersecurity, if you do the business analytics on top of the cybersecurity program, there's great value there. Like, great value. If you do organizational leadership on top of MIS, I think there's value there. And the reason is because it's a different type of management style. Organizational leadership is usually focused more towards nonprofits and stuff. And that's a realm that has a lot of job opportunities that get overlooked, but it's also a realm that requires a different mindset in technology because you're held to stricter budgets and stuff like that. You don't just, they have different purpose for technology as well. So having something that meshes that together, like I said, one of my backgrounds, I actually have a master's in organizational leadership as one of my degrees, and it helps me a great deal in MIS. Because you're taking into consideration all social aspects. You're thinking more on the lines of communication and stuff like that. So there's value. There's great value. And if you can do it, if you can test it out as a free elective in your senior year, go for it. Why not? It's not going to hurt you. It can do nothing but help you. If you get a B in the class, that's obviously a graduate credit, and what are the chances that if you don't go here, that maybe that graduate credit can transfer to a different school? Graduate credits are usually a little more transferable than undergrad. So, just thoughts. Also, not having to take the GMAT or GRE. The GRE is a pain in the neck. I actually took the MLA, so I didn't, or MAT. I took the MAT, so I didn't have to do the GRE. So, yeah. But that's my 2 cents on it. Take it for what it's worth, but that's my opinion. And I'm always cautious in my opinion because I don't want to mislead somebody, but at the same time, you know, like I said, if you can do the master's in business analytics on top of cybersecurity, or even on top of computer science, that degree, I just say go for it. Getting a master's in data analytics right now, in data analytics, you know, you're looking at probably 5 jobs per graduate that are out there. That leads to higher pay, that leads to, it's a whole nother realm of open positions for you to apply. You know, it's another skill set to add. That degree has a lot of value. And I would definitely think about that as far as like if you were MIS, cybersecurity, computer science, if you're in that realm, I would do it. The other ones are good programs, but I think that specific one ties into what you guys are doing. And that would actually, you might be able to realize the return on that much sooner. So, makes sense? Yeah. Everything's a decision you gotta make. Return on investment, man. If you're not thinking about return on investment, it's like I want to finish my PhD, and if for me to do it, I might have to start over. That's a $60,000 to $80,000 endeavor, and it's time consuming. And I'm 48. What's my return on investment? Does it give me higher salary? Probably not. You know, so what's the return on investment? You guys are young. If you can get that master's in data analytics, you have a long time to work in the industry to make money off of that. And 30 credits over, what'd she say, 24 months? Yeah, that's not bad. And I think she said that you can do it all online if you want to, so you could actually be working. You know, the jobs that you can get with your undergrad in the fields that you guys are in, you would actually be able to probably do an evening online program or whatever through them and be making money in the field. And then when you actually complete that degree and have that credential, plus the skill sets you're picking up throughout, you would be able to be promoted and stuff from within, or you'll get out. By the way, I might have, for people that are data-driven, data-oriented, someone with an analytical mind that likes data and programming, that type of thing, I might have opportunities for internships. So. Okay. Get out of here. Where won't I be on Friday?
Right here.
I won't be here. Thank you.
Oh, are we having class Go Mad Day?
Let's go mad this.
November 4th? Yeah, November 5th.
Let me address that. Yeah, let me address that at a different point. I don't know, because I gotta look at how many we've missed. Make sense?
Most of them are like, the sign-ups are like 9 to 11 a.m., so
Right.
I know that would cover do our courses.
Yeah.
Do we have WhatsApp on Friday then?
No. No. Yep.
No bus hits on Friday.
No bus apps here. Not on Friday. No bus apps. Not gonna be here at all on Friday. Take it easy. See ya. Did you learn something new today?
What?
I thought today had value.
I had a lot of value if you listen.